Hi everyone, welcome to this week's crypto market review. Pat here, and as always, going to try and keep this under 10 minutes. Going to focus on majors along with some altcoins I have my eye on for the day, giving us a fresh outlook and market review for the week ahead. Let's get into the video. This video is for informational purposes only and reflects personal views. It's not financial advice. Always consult a qualified financial advisor before making investment decisions. Okay, let's try and keep this around 10 minutes. Obviously, we just sort of sit in range right now, so not a whole lot really to discuss. If anything, this gives us fantastic opportunities to trade in both directions when we're ranging. You know, accept the range for what it is and trade the range, you know, as you would, selling the highs and buying the lows, right? And then working with what you can in between. Had a really good week last week in the group. 3 for 3 or 4 for 4 on BTC positions, both long and shorts. Taking longs on the breakout and equally shorting into the highs once we saw some nice traps. So obviously, if you want access to my daily trades, you can check out the link at the top of the description to join the Discord. Along with my thoughts on Twitter, I'm posting thoughts there daily, and daily streams, trades, everything, weekly market reports, the lot. So yeah, get yourself in that. We're going to start off, like I said, talking about the range that we have right now, because obviously this is something that we are completely aware of that has been happening basically like forever. You know, like finding balance and bracketing within a ranging environment is what we're used to seeing. But obviously in this move down, as we've got marked here, it's something that we are seeing time and time again, where BTC sort of breaks down, moves into some sort of bear flag into the range before breaking down, right? And then we get that same thing, break down, sort of get that range slash like flagging from BTC before then price breaks down lower. Again here, right, we get that break lower, range formed, price starts flagging, and then, you know, what looks to be the start of that breakout again, since we sort of failed to break out on the daily, which I'll get into shortly. That doesn't mean that we're not going to break out by the end of the year or going into Q1 at all. I do still think that there is a breakout going to be on the cards and some sort of trap higher. Whether that trap leads to a move above 110k or not, it's way too early to say just yet. But at least a good trap, a bear trap for people to, a bull trap, apologies, for people to get in bullish and euphoric into, and then that's when you see that sort of sell off again. So I could definitely see something like that happening within the next couple of months. It's just obviously about timing that correctly and being aware of that. So right now, I think the best place to look for longs, like I said, is in towards range low, into this 84k region. Overall, if we're just looking at standard structure and taking sort of order flow out the equation, we can see that the range right now sits between sort of 93,400 and 84,500, let's call it. So a range of around about, you know, $9,000 on BTC. I do think that if we get a trap and a sweep under these lows here into 84k, I think that's a really good place to go long. I'd be really shocked if we make a fresh low by the end of the year under 80k, and if we were going to do that, it would definitely signify a lot of weakness in the market. We're already seeing a bit of a breakdown here, like I discussed, and this bear flag starting to form. So I would like to see a trap under here to get long for a move back sort of towards the mid range, and even this Friday close, right? As you know, I talk about the weekend imbalances a lot. We have a weekend imbalance on BTC that's left from the Friday close and back towards this 9300 area. We attempted to sort of backfill that area on Monday morning, but obviously New York opened and we had that really heavy sell-off with stocks. So right now, a difficult place for BTC. So we'll just quickly talk about the order flow side of things and sort of what I'm looking at for BTC. So right now we are trading below a 4-week composite point of control, value area, apologies. So what we have is these 4 weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4. When we merge them together, we get a composite value area, essentially the key value that BTC, if we are going to make a move back towards 90 to 91k and above, it needs to accept back inside this value area low marked around 87,700. If we go onto the daily TPO, onto the daily market profile, right now we can see that we are bouncing back towards this region, but currently rejecting from that area, right? We had an aggressive breakdown yesterday that left the single print on this move down, and now we are sort of rejecting into that area. And unless we do get a good reclaim back above 88k and see some acceptance back inside this and above this 4-week composite value area low, then we can start to look for higher prices, targeting a lot of these poor highs that are left from this move down, and pretty ugly highs to say the least. But 88k is the reclaim we need to get for a chance to move back up there. Until then, like I said, looking for that move towards 84k, and personally looking to get short into this area. Right now I don't have massive trigger for a short, would like a bit more of a trap into 88k, and that looks like a really good place to start trapping into, you know, as we start to move up here. If we start to see a nice trap and falling back below that area, then I'm going to be looking at a short, targeting fresh weekly lows and sub 84k. Moving on to the value side of things, BTC currently trading below this prior monthly value area low, is developing monthly value area low, and also failing to hold that quarterly value area low, developing quarterly value area low, and now below the developing yearly value area low. So overall, a really difficult place for BTC now to get back above. And until we do, like I said, reclaim that 88k region, I do think this is a good place for some continuation lower, at least back down to these lows at 84k, back down towards sort of range low. Personally, I'm looking to get a bit of a short into 88k if I get signs of a trap, and targeting 84 from there. Time frame value wise, still trading above the Q1 value area low from this year, still trading above the Q2 value area low. So overall, quite a nice place to continue to hold. Don't expect too much of a breakdown under here by the end of the year, and if we do, then it is a sign of weakness. We have these sort of equal lows on the daily on Coinbase here and across multiple exchanges. I think we can grab some nice liquidity under there and look for a long front run the sweep of this low, and just sweep into 84, and with a target, you know, of 88 back towards that four-week composite value area low, and flipping back above the we can look for a move towards like 92k and above. Down towards 84k, we have this minus 2.5 to 3 standard deviations. This is the same values that we were just looking at. We also have a high volume node POC at 84,150. So overall, a really nice place volume and value wise, that should offer a really nice bounce. And until we get back above 88k, I'm fairly confident that 84k is the next stop for price. I want to quickly discuss the breakout on BTC. Obviously, the daily breakout failed. This is something that actually hasn't failed throughout the whole cycle. So the fact that now the daily breakout has failed on BTC is probably a strong sign of weakness in the market, right? Because almost every time that we've got that breakout on BTC, we've sort of locked in a higher low, right? Or it legged up again. We went long for the group into that higher low, and we caught like a 4.4 to 5% move on it, and TP'd back into range highs. It stalled again, it got stuck, and it started to roll. The fact that once we've broken out, we're now making a fresh lower low is definitely not a good sign. Of course, if we did lock in a good reclaim above like 90k, maybe even 93k, this could break out again. But right now, the breakout's not convincing. The fact that we've made a lower low off of that breakout is not convincing to me. And personally, I think that's a good sign of weakness, at least more chance of price ranging going into the end of the year, into Q1, rather than breaking out into the end of the year. That's sort of my thoughts right now, unless we obviously get the breakout on the 3-day, which is still currently, we look at the line chart, we're still currently capped by that 3-day downtrend. You can see this line here, this line here, 3-day downtrend, clearly capped still. So if the 3-day does get breakout, then maybe that's when we see the reversal, but for now, not rushed in trying to catch a big breakout on Bitcoin. Another reason I want to discuss the weakness, because the DXY is weak, and historically we're pretty inverse to the dollar in terms of when the dollar is weak, the crypto market is strong, or at least forming better than the DXY. And equally, when Bitcoin is weak, it's often because, you know, along with other factors, but one of the main things being that the dollar index is strong. If we look at the prior rate cuts on BTC, I discussed this on Tuesday last week prior to FOMC, and said I was very cautious of a similar thing happening out again, given that, you know, we had two rate cuts when the market priced in rate cut on both occasions. And following that rate cut, we basically full retraced, and, you know, we can see that we're almost doing the exact same thing here on BTC. The difference is, if we compare the dollar over the top, of this, we can see in the occasions where BTC did sell off following the rate cut, the dollar was strong, right? The dollar was going up, right? Again, here in this example, the dollar was going up, and BTC trade down following that rate cut. The only difference to this occasion is that the dollar is also trading down, and so is BTC. So it's a pretty good statement of the strength in the sellers right now. You know, the sellers are way stronger than the buyers. You know, that is obvious. That's why you get downtrends and like that. You know, it's as simple as supply being overpowering of demand, and we can definitely see that coming into effect here as people are starting to like sell and risk off following the rate cuts, right, as the market did price that in. So with that in mind, you know, we are sort of almost full retracing that move where we've priced in now. Do we now look at seeing some continuation since we've, you know, backfilled a lot of this imbalance? I do think that we can get some continuation back towards 92 again. I would like to see that come after a sweep under 84k, trapping under there. I think we could definitely look at taking a move back towards the highs. Of course, with taking into consideration some levels on the way like 88k and 90k, for example. Now to round it up, let's talk about ETH. ETH is just ranging, currently trading between the prime monthly val and the prime monthly value area low and the value area high, you know, just within that prime monthly value. Sort of deviated above the 2024 VWAP and also the developing yearly VWAP, which we can see here, which to be honest is not a great sign for ETH. The fact that we sort of deviated above there, I wouldn't be surprised to see ETH now trail over the course of December back down to sort of like 2400, mostly as low as 2600, back towards this 2024 value area low. Now we are trading back within this 2021 and 2024 values between these two, and these lower values are yet to be retested. So the fact we sort of deviated above that 2024 VWAP and the developing yearly VWAP is probably not a good sign for ETH. I think any bounce is probably a good opportunity to look for a short back down towards 2600 to 2400 unless something shifts. Confirmation of that would be accepting below the prime monthly val, but right now, you know, we are in range. I wouldn't short into this area. If anything, I'd look for a short into like 3100 on Ethereum. Few alts I have my eye on. Well, this is actually just dumped in the time I was preparing the video and getting ready for it. But Ava AI looked pretty good for a short today into this high volume node POC, which currently we've already rejected from 17% in fact, and the developing quarterly VWAP. It still looks good for a short. Maybe set some alerts where I am up here into sort of 155, sorry. That looks like a pretty good place. That looks like a pretty good place for a reversal into the developing quarterly value area high. The daily isn't too overextended on the Z score, so I would like it to be overextended a bit more. And form, I'm looking for a short into 043044 today. That looks like a good spot for a short trigger on this. Still looking at altcoins to be, you know, good shorts across the board. A lot of the time you'll find that the top performers of the day are tomorrow's top losers. That's sort of been my outlook for a while. Scam pumps into high volume node areas are often a really good place to look for reversals on them. But that's going to do it for this week's Tuesday market review. Hopefully you had some use out of this video and we can execute on some of the plans given today. Just quickly to reiterate, looking for a short into 88k. If we do end up reclaiming 88k, then I will look for continuation set up towards 91 and above. Overall favoring shorts this week for a move back down towards 84k, where I officially want to get swinging long on BTC. Make sure you check out all the links in the description. Link to join Blofin as well. I'm running a campaign over there at the moment where you get 15% bonus on your trading deposits. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on Thursday for my Trading from Blank episode. Bye bye. Currently running a giveaway on my Twitter if you want to go and check that out. 3-month membership to get access to the Discord. Few steps which can be seen on the screen. I'm going to put the link into the giveaway at the top of the description. Hope everyone has a good Christmas and I wish you a lot of luck.